And we are live with another episode of Commercial Roofing Radio. And I got my good friend Sam LoBosco here with me today. The boss, man. This guy has been building sales teams all across the nation. He's been building big roofs. He's a legend among himself for over 10 years in the industry, man. Thanks for joining us today. How are you doing, brother?
Dude, I'm good, man. Thanks for having me. Excited to be here, that's for sure. And, you know, we've been talking about doing this for a couple months now, and excited we're finally making it happen.
Yeah, we were actually on the schedule, but I think you were in the middle of something that day and I was in the middle of something. So this is like a reschedule.
I think I was in the middle of Nashville and we were trying to do it. We were getting set up and I was in the truck and it just wasn't the good place to do it.
Yeah, you were on your cell phone. It was really bad quality. And so we care about our viewers, right? We want you to have good quality, good video, good audio, good everything. So, we had to recommit. And now here we are, man. Well, I always like to get started with how do you get in the industry? So over 10 years in the industry, it's a decade, dude. That's a long time.
It's been a long time, man. I mean, I started in the industry in 2013. I was working for a friend of my mom who was the office manager for a roofing company. And They were looking for, door-to-door guys, go out and canvas a little bit. I was making $25 an hour, canvassing 4 or 5 hours a day. And I was doing that for, 3-4 years while I was still in college.
Wow.
Yep. And so I was just doing that. And, I started doing door-to-door. God, dude, selling chocolate bars in baseball,
I guess baseball, right?
Going around to your neighbors' houses and just knocking on the door and saying, hey, I'm little Sam from down the street. We're selling baseball chocolates. You guys want any? And, just doing that, and I've never been a shy person. So, the whole door-to-door aspect never bothered me. And, it's been a journey.
So bring me back to those years. So you're in college. Right.
Yep.
Just trying to make an extra dime. Was this like over the summers? Was this during college? Where was this at?
So it was mostly spring through summers. Falls, I was busy playing baseball. And so I was just playing ball and going to school and then doing the whole door-to-door canvassing thing part-time. And, I ended up doing really well in the canvassing aspect. I was setting a bunch of appointments for guys. And we sat down and I was talking to one of the sales reps that I was setting some, inspections for. And he was just like, man, he's like, you're killing this right now. He's like, wow, you ever thought about, coming back and, actually just taking the project from start to finish? And I was like, no, not really. I haven't really done that yet. And he's like, you should give it a shot. He's like, there's a lot more money in the sales side than there is in this canvassing portion.
I'd say so.
Let's give it a shot. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Hell, that was probably good money for a college student though, man. You're a college student making an extra $100 a day from 4 hours. That's not too bad. Did they give you like bonuses when they signed a contract, or was it just straight $25 an hour?
It was just straight $25 an hour.
How much did you slack off? Were you one of those guys that like you get dropped off and then walk down the street, or you don't get the whole time, right?
I actually never got dropped off. Like I would just meet them in the neighborhood and stay. And the guy would be like, all right, I'm going to be down this street. You're going to be down this street. I'm like, all right, cool. Dude, I'd set like 4 or 5 for him in like 2-3 hours. And he'd be like, he wouldn't even have time to knock his own doors because I'd be calling him up. Like, hey, I'm waiting on you. We got one over here.
You got one.
Yeah, you got one. Let's go. Come on.
We got one. Dude, it's funny. I always wanted to know that from like an honest perspective, right? Because all of my canvassers, when I started out canvassing, I wanted to work hard. I just wanted to go. So it wasn't even in my mind. But, later on, I hear so many people talking about it, about how like they're flyering and they just go dump the flyers somewhere and just walk down the street or something.
My thing was I was getting paid hourly. So I was like, I'll work 8 hours a day. Like, let me stay out here longer. But they would cap you at like 5. Oh. So I was like, all right, well, I'm going to try and set as many for this guy as I can. Cause like, basically they didn't have like a bonus structure, but like you needed to set a certain number of appointments to get your full pay for the day.
Oh, okay. So you had a minimum. See, my thing was
so
like I'd have my canvassers and I would tell them what to do, and I'd always tell them like, now don't cheat me. I mean, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. But if I catch you cheating, you're fired.
So if you get caught slacking, you're out.
You're fired straight up. Well, it's like, because I mean, how easy would it be if you're paid just by the hour just to not go knocking doors?
You could have milked it all day.
Oh yeah,
you could milk it all day. I mean, back then it's like, they didn't have trackers in trucks yet, and they weren't doing all the GPS locations. Spotio was just coming around. Yeah, it's like it's one of those things that they weren't really. They were tracking, but they didn't have some of the technology that they do today. So it's like you could go sit in a neighborhood. I mean, I'd be knocking some neighborhoods, and I'd see other company guys, canvassers, just sitting in their trucks, chilling, sitting on their phone, texting people.
Well, my biggest thing too, I like that that's how you started, and you did it for a long time. I mean, 3-4 years of straight canvassing. That's a long fucking time. Most people, it's pretty quick. It's like, okay, you got 2 days of door knocking, and then like they start taking them on inspections, and you never really master that phase of door knocking. And it's the biggest value you can give somebody is teaching them how to fish, right? If you know how to fish, you're going to eat forever. It's not, hey, here's how to do it. Watch me do it. Okay, perfect. Now let's go move on to the next thing. Let's learn how to cook. And you never really master that fishing, or in sales is prospecting, how much value do you think that was for you? Like even today, you can go back on that. Like you could never, if I'm a good door knocker and I'm out selling roofs, like I can always go back to that. Like at no point in time in my life is there anything going on to where I can't go knock 100 doors, sell 10, 15 roofs.
Correct. Because it's like, dude, that's the thing. It's like when you learn to door knock and you're there and you're doing it properly. So like after I got done canvassing, I was in school. I was go to school for music, got done with everything. Once I got done with music, it really became basically just a part-time gig. And then after, I decided to go full-time, I didn't even end up going full-time with the company I was canvassing for. Yeah, I went full-time with another company because my mom's friend left. Oh, and she was like, no, don't go work. She's like, no, don't go work for them, all the chatter. And so I was like, okay. So I went and worked for another roofing company, and it was the same spiel where, I went out with a guy for 2 weeks, showed me the ropes, all this stuff. And, the first day he's, sitting there knocking doors, and he knocks on the door, and, we get up on the roof, we do the inspection. He's like, it's really just that simple. I was like, I got you. I was like, I canvassed for about 4 years for another company. He's like, really? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, oh, well then, go ahead, Mr. Canvasser. Let me see what you got. And the next 3 doors, bro, I'll never forget. The next 3 doors, knocked on the door, got the inspections, watched him do the closes because I hadn't closed. I was just
first time I've seen it, right?
Once we closed 3 in a row, all 3 neighbors. And once we got done on the 3rd neighbor, he's like, okay, you can definitely get in the door. Now you've seen me close. Let me see if you can close. On the 4th door, we got all 4 in a row, and I closed the 4th one. And he looked at me. He's like, okay. He's like, I'm just going to go to the next street. You just keep signing up the day.
Keep on going. Man, that's really cool.
Just keep on going. He's like, whatever you're doing is working. He's like, go for it. But it's like, I also look back at it as like, without the experience of canvassing, I never would have been comfortable getting on the roof.
Yeah.
Because the beginning part of the pitch, the hardest part is getting on the roof.
Yeah.
Once you get off the roof and you can prove everything, you've got your documentation, and you're sitting there showing the homeowner like, hey, look, this is what you got.
It sells itself. Right? I mean, this is roofing, guys. It's not rocket science. It's barely a sale. It's barely a sale.
And everybody's always going to need a roof.
Yep.
And everybody's always going to need a roof.
Yep, absolutely. Well, that's awesome. And so you went to school. Where did you go to school? And what did you go to school for? I thought you said music. That's pretty cool. I didn't even know that.
So I went to school for music, actually. So I have an associate's in audio and applied sciences. And so I actually had music studios in Chicago, was a recording engineer, producer, DJ. did all that stuff, and then
sing us a tune. You want to sing us a tune on here real quick?
I don't sing, bro. I don't sing.
Acapella?
No, I don't sing, bro. All right, listen. I was the guy behind the desk.
Do you rap? Can you give me a rap going? Okay, so you're DJ. You know how to press buttons and shake things.
Yeah, I was the wiki, you know.
Wiki. Yeah. Okay, so sorry guys. I'm let down too. He's not going to sing for us, but whatever.
Yeah, not today, guys. Sorry.
Well,
maybe if I get the mic going and throw some auto tune on there, and we can record that instead of the actual voice, we can get it going. But
a lot of auto tune. But if you're listening and you're a roofer and you're trying to get into music, this guy can auto tune you. Right? There you go.
Exactly. Hey, we can create jingles for your roofing company. We can record them. I can auto tune you. It'll be great.
That's pretty cool. I like it. Yeah. So, okay, where's the next progression? Right. So now you're selling roofs. How long are you selling roofs? Where are you at? When did you start storm chasing? When did you get into big roofs? What's next?
I'd say about 2016, 2017 is when I really started, focusing on my own sales. Got in with a company out here in Chicago, was working for them for a little bit. And when I decided that, it was time to kind of move up the ranks after about 3 years. So I'd say like 2018, 2019 is when I really started getting into like the management side, building sales teams, working with other salesmen, training them, helping develop them, find their strengths and their weaknesses, being able to go through and, help build a good culture, because a big thing I focus on nowadays is the culture. If you don't have a culture within your company where people are going to gravitate towards and they're going to want to stay and they're going to want to work for you, you're going to end up with, a high turnover rate. And that's one of the biggest problems in our industry is turnover. Sales reps all the time are jumping ship or going from, company to company or, wanting certain aspects and not, them not being able to provide them, over promising and under delivering. It's become a huge, huge problem in the industry.
Yeah. Wow, man. Was that like something you always wanted to do, was to focus on the culture and building the sales teams as you were selling? Or you're like, I'm always going to sell. I'm going to own my own company.
It really didn't dawn on me. So 2018 is when, I would say I really just honed in on, the industry, trade secrets, sales, getting better at the sales side, helping develop people, and then progressing into, I'd say about 2020, during COVID is when it really started to kind of pick up for me. I had about 7-8 guys, and, we started moving things along real well. And then, 2021, I started storm chasing for the company I was with in Chicago, went to a couple of different locations, was really good at helping build the sales teams up. And then, basically got the idea in my head that, I wanted to, start my own office for this company.
There you go.
And once the, office was up and moving along, we wanted to get there, but unfortunately didn't get there. And I knew that, from talking to other people in the industry, friends, family, stuff like that, I felt as if I had much more to offer. And then that's when in the last, I'd say 3 years, I really wanted to focus on, business development, growth, building a culture, developing teams, putting together training manuals, and, being able to have a company where people just gravitate towards what you're building because they see that it's not just smoke and mirrors and we're doing this out here and we're actually building this, and we want to bring people who have vision and have dreams, because, when you've got a team of 12, 13, 15, 30, 50 guys, like I've had over the last year, every piece is just as important as, the newer guys, old guys, the new guys, every one of them. And so it's like, you want to take those people and put them in the right place.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, that's what I think you're known for more than anything is being able to build those massive teams very quickly and scale and things like that. I mean, this is commercial roofing radio though. So, and I know you've dabbled in commercial roofs, at least more than dabbled. Where did that start?
Yep.
How was that early on in your sales career? You started going after commercial?
No, commercial really didn't start for me until about 2018.
About 2018.
So I went about 5 years. You know, I always wanted to learn it more, you know, get to it. But, you know, residential, like, you know, it's very common to hear, you know, residential pays the bills and, you know, the commercial roofs buy the Ferrari.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like that's when, you know, once I started to build a big enough pipeline and, you know, I had enough work residentially coming my way, that's when I wanted to continue and start focusing on the commercial side.
Yeah. I like that. I mean, you know, residential was always our bread and butter, you know, it's the bread and butter, and then commercial would be your meat, you know, and you got to start there, especially with the hours of the day. Like it's a good mix. If you're, you know, cause commercial's business to business. People are inside their business and working at their business. The decision makers are there with their business hats on for so many hours during the day. And then residential is homeowners, right? They're there after hours. So theoretically, it's not hard to work both. When you were working both, did you mix that up in the same regard? Spend your time during the day going after the businesses, spend your time in the afternoon, evening going after the homes, or was it just throw shit at the wall, see if it sticks?
No, we never throw shit at the wall, see if it sticks. We always have a game plan, you know.
Yep.
I always like to take Sunday nights, game plan my week, you know, have my Monday morning meetings, talk to my people, and then usually, you know, if I'm focusing on some big commercial properties, I'm there in the mornings. You know, I'm getting there at 8, 9 a.m. and I'm working the commercial aspect till about noon, and then I'll go hit residential from probably 2 o'clock on until, sundown.
Yeah.
I
love that, man. I mean, success leaves clues. You hear that all the time, right? And then my other thing that I like to mix with that is never forget your last worst day, right? So success leaves clues. I always go back and game plan your week based on your previous weeks and the data on how it's going to go, and then plan your weeks moving forward. Never forget your last worst day, because it could be middle of winter and you could be broke and you could not have a hailstorm. So don't forget that day and work your ass off.
Especially growing up in Chicago in the Midwest, you ain't getting a hailstorm in the middle of winter.
Yeah, it don't happen. It ain't Texas. It ain't New Mexico. It ain't Florida.
And until I finally started branching out of Chicago, it's like I always knew how big the hail industry was, but when you get to travel to different markets and see the different types of jobs and, work with, different companies and different industry leaders and, sitting down and getting insight from all these people, it helps build your network. And, one thing I preach is your network is your net worth.
Yeah.
If you've got a good network of people and you've got a good ground into what you're doing, I mean, you network with the right people, man, you can go very far.
That's awesome, man. So, okay. So if somebody asked me where you're from, I wouldn't even know if it's Tennessee, is it Chicago? Is it kind of both?
So I was born and raised in Chicago, grew up in suburbs of Chicago, and then moved to Tennessee last year.
Okay. So, and you're in Knoxville, Tennessee, right? Is that correct? Yep,
Knoxville, Tennessee. They actually just got hit last night with an 1.5 inch hail.
Inch and a half hail, Knoxville, Tennessee. Wow. There you go.
And it's uncommon out here.
What do you do? Shouldn't you be door knocking right now? It's prime time, baby.
Dude, bro, we got called for a podcast. I had to come home.
You see that, guys? You had to turn down the door knock and come get dressed, change, fix your hair, because you're outside sweating. We call it.
Oh, bro! Literally ran in the house, got everything together. But I do. So one thing, I'm going to plug my telemarketing company right now. So I've actually got the telemarketing business right now.
There you go.
That we've sat and talked about a little bit. It's Roof Stacks, and dude, I've got the telemarketing company right now calling out here for me while I'm sitting here, and dude, I've got 7-8 appointments set for tomorrow.
There you go. I love that. Time management. I have another business as well, Just Share Media. And one of the reasons why I started it is being able to work at all hours, Same thing with your your business getting leads while you're sitting here talking to me. So, that's always something. Yeah. Your time is your most valuable asset. You cannot buy past time or previous time, but you can purchase future time. You know how you can purchase future time? You invest into things, right? You
invest into your own time management. You invest into people to help you manage that time, or marketing, or a company that can help take you from 1 million to 5 million to 10 million to 25 million to 100 million. However that growth process looks for you. The one thing I've learned from being in this industry for 10 years is that, your marketing is just as important as your door knocking.
Yeah.
And if you've got good at both, it's like right now, I'm working with about 20 different contractors at this point.
That's awesome, man.
And I've got, a system set up for them where, not only are we going to be telemarketing for these companies in this area, but we're also going to be sending flyers. We're going to be sending direct mailers to these areas that they want us calling for them. The day after the storm, hey, boom, they're getting a direct mailer in the mail because you just got hit with a storm, and, Chuck in a truck is out here today and they're knocking doors, and then we're calling, and hey, we got, friggin' National Claim Advisors is in the area. We're doing inspections on the neighbors' houses. We wanted to see if you were home today. Are you the homeowner here at, 2200, Dorn Street, whatever it is? And, it's
passive. It's like, because
then I can,
if you are door knocking and let's say, okay, what was your normal day like? You're going out. It's Sam in college. You're motivated. You want to get those stacks, right? And you're out door knocking. How many could you get in your basic 5-hour day?
Dude, there was some days, man, where I was getting 7 to 8.
7 to 8 a day.
In 5 hours.
So,
it was,
you're not going to get much better than that, guys. Like, if you're door knocking your ass off, you're not going to get better than 7 or 8 a day. Commercial is completely different. It's even harder. But let's stick with residential. 7 or 8 a day. So that's your best. You can't squeeze any more time out. But what can you do? You can have the telemarketers calling while you're door knocking. You can have ads spun up on social and SEO and everything else while you're door knocking. So now that 8 could become 16. That's where all of that passive it all comes by, and it's juicing it all.
And then from there, you gotta learn how to work your referral network.
Yep.
Referral network is just as important because you could be knocking on somebody's door. You could do their roof, but you're not networking with that person. You're not trying to get referrals from them. But that could be the president of the HOA. That could be somebody who runs a $100 million hedge fund.
Yep.
You never know. It's you never know whose door you're knocking on. And I love the referral program too, because it's like, you're offering, bonus, a lot of companies today, they'll offer, we have a $200 referral bonus program on a referral, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And obviously, you got to,
I would say that helps even more in commercial too. I mean, wouldn't you say, or is that basically the same?
Big time.
Yep.
Yeah, big time. I mean, it definitely helps more commercial. For sure.
Yeah.
If you got, and the one thing too that I always tell my people is when you're talking to these homeowners about the referrals and say, hey, look, if you've got three family members or 3 friends that you could refer me to, I'm going to give you $200 per person that gets their roof done. But why are we not asking the homeowners, hey, where do you work?
Yeah.
What do you do for work? Oh, you work at Amazon? You're the general manager at the Amazon building that just got hit with the tornado in Indiana? Oh, that's great. I do commercial properties. I would love to come by your office, sit down with you, and take a look to see what damage the hurricane might have done to the building.
Yeah. I mean, that's when I would sell residential, if I sold residential, I would always focus on high-end residential for that reason, and I would always introduce myself, I'm Alan. I mainly do commercial or some high-end residential, so they knew from the start, I'm a commercial roofer. I'm a commercial roofing salesman, and I'm just trying to help out some of the residential, but I only focus on specialty and high end. That's why I'm helping you out. But I can also help. I focus on your business. And it always transitions into that. And then you're
Always.
doing them a favor. You're helping them out, right? Because you're going outside of your typical multi-million-dollar job and you're helping them out with this small 6-figure residential roof. Yeah. That was typically how I like to do it. So when I would sell both.
And dude, it's being in the space now, selling both, being involved in, you know, high ticket commercial, HOAs, you know, big copper slate tile jobs. You know, there's a lot at work there.
Yeah.
And it's big money, you know, but it's like, I feel like, you know, you got to start off in the small residential. You got to hit the 15, 20 square neighborhoods that just got hit with 2-inch hail. Put your work in, get the blood, sweat, and tears out, you know, for a few years, and then, you know, work your way up into the bigger stuff as you get more versed, you know, because you can sell, you know, ice to an Eskimo, but, you know, you want to be able to sit down and actually know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And, you know, actually have the knowledge and have the understanding of what this roofing system looks like, how it's put together, what the roofing system is doing for the home.
Yeah. I mean, I've talked to a lot of different people. You know, my way to get here was different. And there's so many different paths, right, to get to where you want to go. If you're sitting here today and you want to go sell commercial, you want to be a $100 million commercial salesman, there's many different paths to get there. I've talked to, was it Mike Abernathy on one of these? We did an episode together, and I think his second roof he ever sold was a $5 million roof. You know, talk about jump right in. Didn't know what the hell he was doing. But I do like your path, Sam, like learning and mastering. They say the journey is more important than the destination. Well, if you skip the fucking journey, then what did you learn along the way? You know, again, you can always go back. You can rest on your laurels. You can go back and sell residential anytime you want, or you could go sell commercial now. So there is a lot of value to that path, to that journey that you put in to get to the destination. Now, speaking about the destination, how is the commercial sales versus the residential? Do you just love it? Is it your favorite? Or is there any specific jobs that you want to mention that were some of your favorites that you've done, or what?
So there's been quite a few. You know, right now I've actually got 3 active big commercial jobs. It's commercial shingles, but they're big hotels. You know, the one's 275 squares. The other one's like 360, 370. So it's like there's a lot in play. And the only thing that's different really is the length of time.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to be willing to jump through the hoops for, you know, 2-3 months before you even get a decision. You know, residential, you're looking at maybe 4 to 6 weeks versus double the time frame. So it's like, you know, I've actually got a friend of mine who contacted me. He's got about 10,000 squares of Ludovici down in Miami that they need help with. And so it's like, you know, me and him are going to sit down and go over that and, you know, start getting things in play. Actually here probably tonight.
There you go.
And then, you know, there's just a lot, man. I mean, the commercial side to me is more fun because it's bigger.
It's bigger fish.
You know, it's a lot bigger projects. It also doesn't take, you know, versus residential where 100 of your residential roofs is equal to one of those big commercial projects. Yeah. And so it's like, for me, I spend a lot more of my time now just focusing on the commercial, and then I'll use my telemarketing company to bring me my residential, you know, because if you set me up on 20 appointments for the day, I'm going to close 18 out of 20.
Yeah.
And that's how I want to set myself up. And then I also want to set up my sales guys that way as well, where, you know, these guys are coming in, they're learning. I get them honed in on door knocking. I get them honed in on being able to train people. I get them their own set of telemarketing leads sent over for them. And then from there, just moving and branching off into the commercial space, going out, getting on the commercial roofs with them, you know, teaching them about the different types of, you know, whether it's TPO, EPDM, ModBit, whatever it may be, whatever might be on that roof at the time. But, you know, I love being able to train, and I love being able to just sell a big whale. I love it.
Without a doubt, man. Without a doubt. I mean, commercial is just, it's better when you're going after the bigger ones. I compare it, if you want to compare it to gambling, right? When I go to the casino, I don't want to just sit there and play. I want to win. So do I want to win $5, $10, $100? No, I go to high limit slots. I'm going to play over there because if I've got $100 or $500 that I expect to spend at the casino, yeah, I can make that last me a few hours, but I don't want to sit in that smoke-filled casino for a few hours. I want to go in and I want to take that 100 or 500 and turn it to 1,000 or 5,000. So I'm going to go put it in the high-limit machine and give me 3 to 5 spins. I'm either going to win big or get the fuck out because I don't want to be in there anyway. You know, exactly. Go home, go back to your residential. I don't know. That's just
we're two different types of gamblers, that's for sure. Because I'm going in and I'm putting $500 a hand on blackjack, or I'm sitting there and I'm throwing dice.
Yeah. See, something again, the journey. You like the journey, so clearly, and there's nothing wrong with that, man. The journey is fun too. It's to be admired and look back on.
It's been very fun, man. It honestly has been. It's like, there was a point in time where I thought maybe this isn't going to be it for during the canvassing part. When I was starting off. When I just started off doing all the sales myself, it became one of those things where I was like, man, I don't know if I'm going to stick with this. I might just do music full time. And so I started to pull myself back out of the industry a little bit and focus on music. Opened up a few recording studios in Chicago, worked with a bunch of music artists, traveled, DJ'd, went on tours, produced my own music. And, I ended up right back here.
There you go. Once you're in the roofing industry, you can't leave, man. It's got the hooks.
Yeah. Dude, it does, bro. It's got the hooks. And once you learn it, like you truly learn it, you learn the process, you learn the systems, you learn how to navigate through, whether it's an insurance claim or a retail bid, or, you're working on a huge HOA that's got 242 properties that doesn't have an umbrella where you're either filing 242 individual claims or you're not filing any at all. It's a fun process because you get to help people either put a new roof on their house or, fix something that got broken during the storm. And, you get to help them while making money, and you make great money doing it.
There you go, guys. Come join the roofing industry. Go sell some commercial roofs, sell some residential, make a lot of money and help people doing it. There you go. I mean,
come on, let me know. We're hiring always.
Always building teams, right, Sam? And get your leads, roof stacks. There you go. I want to jump into what my favorite segment is on these. So I don't know, Sam, if you've watched any of our episodes yet. Do you know my favorite segment on the episode?
I do not.
It is Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Did you grow up watching Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Are you familiar with Who Wants to Be a Millionaire at all?
Regis was great. I couldn't watch it anymore after Regis was gone.
Yeah, it wasn't the same. Hopefully, I'm doing the best I can to make Regis proud. But I'm a far cry from Regis as well. But it is a little bit different than the normal Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. So there's only 4 questions. All of them are multiple choice. And instead of 3 lifelines, you only get 2 lifelines because we don't have a live audience. We just have, so you can phone a friend or you could do the 50-50 where you get rid of 2 different answers. So, All right. You ready?
Okay. Let's go.
Let's go ahead and get started. And no cheating. All right. No Googling these. All right, man. I'm pretty pumped about this. Let's go. My first one. And it's funny, I think I was telling you earlier that I created these questions so long ago, and for some reason I didn't put the answers next to them, so I had to Google the questions to find the answers. Yeah, of course. Okay, so this first one, Tennessee. Knoxville, Tennessee. This is where you live. And so I figured let's do some Tennessee questions, right? Walter Cronkite was really big in Tennessee. Big dude. I guess that's the Walter Cronkite of CNN or Fox News. He was a broadcaster for like a long time, right? He may have been ABC. I don't know which one he was. But what nickname did Walter Cronkite give Cumberland Ave? I guess Cumberland Ave is a big area in Knoxville, Tennessee. What nickname did Cronkite give Cumberland Avenue? Is it A, the Strip, B, the streaking capital of the world, C, Krustyland Avenue, or D, the best street in Tennessee?
See, the problem is I grew up in Chicago.
Yeah.
So I've only been here for a year. So this is going to be tough. Let's see. Walter Cronkite, then Cumberland Ave.
Are you familiar with Cumberland Ave? Do you even know what that is or where that is? Is that like a bar strip area?
I've been over there.
Okay.
Yeah. God, I feel like it's posted on the friggin' sign too.
It's so obvious.
It probably is.
Like I'm a little hungover. I was there this weekend. I should have known.
Yeah, I should have been there. What the hell? I should have been paying attention. I knew Alan was going to ask me this question.
Yep.
All right. Can you repeat the answers for me one more time?
It's either the Strip, it's the streaking capital of the world, or Krustyland Avenue, or the best street in Tennessee.
Okay, I don't think it's Krustyland. I don't. I feel like I don't know why, but something about the Strip is standing out to me.
Well, I mean, the Strip's a popular name, so.
It is. It's very popular, but I also think that Cronkite would be a little bit more unique than that. So I don't think it's that one either.
Your time is almost up. What
were the other two real quick? I got rid of the Strip and Krustyland.
Streaking capital of the world or the best street in Tennessee.
I'm going to go with the streaking capital of the world.
Is that your final answer?
Final answer.
You got it. There you go. It was actually later named the Strip. So it's called the Strip now, but they got it from the streaking capital of the world because I guess a lot of people go streaking there. I guess there's a big event like once a year where everybody goes streaking.
It's because of Tennessee being right there.
Yeah.
So I guess it's like the college kids all go do it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm 1 for 1.
One for one.
Process of elimination.
1 for 1. Okay, so I always like to look up like the stats from storms and things like that. We're in the storm restoration industry, so naturally I start looking up hailstorms and tornadoes, and something that popped out to me was earthquakes. I guess Knoxville and earthquakes was some cool stat that popped up, a little bit different. So how many earthquakes has Knoxville had? Is that A, 4, B, 0, C, 10, or D, 7?
All right. I don't think you'd be asking this question if the answer was 0. I don't think so.
Maybe the whole question was just born to fool you.
It could just be a whole loaded question.
A whole loaded question. Damn it, Regis!
It's super loaded. And then it's 0. I'm just gonna eliminate 0. I'm gonna eliminate 10 because that seems like a lot. I've also never really heard or seen of any earthquakes really on this side of the U.S., but I'm sure there are some. I'm gonna go with 7. Final answer.
Just straight up final answer. That's it. 7.
Yeah.
All right, you are wrong. It was 4.
It's 0.
It was 4. It was 4. Yeah. I realized that when I was asking the question, I was like, this was a really dumb answer to put up there. Like I could have done 1, but I had to do 0. It's like, yeah, that was.
Well, listen, you could have just loaded the whole gun up and said, yeah, how many earthquakes have been here? Oh, you guessed 4? No, there's none.
Yeah. Oh man, that was a good one. All right. Okay.
Love it.
So another one. Again, I like to go into your life and things, and that to me, a lot of times, social media that kind of tells people who you are.
Yep.
Well, guys, if you don't follow Sam LoBosco on social media, then you're missing a lot of selfies. This guy is big on his selfies. So I figured
somebody's got to look good.
Somebody's got to look good,
media,
right? Sam likes Sam. So when was the first selfie ever taken? Right? Was it Sam LoBosco circa 2007? Was it 1998? Was it 2001? Or was it 1839?
1839.
You're just gonna go straight up with it. It's just 1839. No.
Well, so I've actually seen this before.
You take so many selfies. You've just done some research on selfies, so you know the stat.
Remember that song? Remember that song "Selfie" that came out by It was Chainsmokers. Oh, dude, there's a huge song about it. Where dude, it's everybody takes selfies. I could go through your phone probably and find 100 selfies of you with everybody. I mean, come on. I think you and I even have a few together.
I mean, well, that doesn't. I don't even know if that counts. If there's other people in it, yeah, technically it's a selfie. But I'm talking about pictures of yourself taken by yourself. You know?
Yes, you said me. 2007. I'm pretty sure you probably went on my Facebook and saw the first selfie.
Yeah.
So that's probably where you got me.
Probably used circa 07.
And then, but I do believe, if I remember reading it correctly, that they said the first selfie ever technically taken was in 1839. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that finally.
All right, you got it. It's 1839. Yep, it was a self-portrait, which is actually, it's weird. I've got contradicting answers because remember I told you I went back and found I had to research the answers. I had 1556 on here from a different self-portrait. So I don't know.
Really?
So conflicting reports, but I couldn't even find that date again when I Googled it today. So I have no idea. That's why I don't trust the internet. It's just people typing shit.
Dude, you can't, man. The internet used to be one place where you could find all the correct answers, and now you can even find all the wrong.
Yeah, it's all Chat GPT. Like it's okay.
That's the only source I trust at this point.
So next, I've got one that if you look around right behind you, you got some fish in there. So you like to fish, right?
Yeah, I love it.
Okay, so I figured that out because I saw a bunch of selfies with you holding fish. So if you go into these selfies, about half to 3/4 of the selfies, Sam is taking a selfie.
They better cut in some of these selfies too in the video.
I really hope so. Okay. Let's go here. A lot of people in America are actually fishing fans. They like to fish. So in millions, roughly, how many Americans fish for sport? Is it 8 million, 22 million, 18 million, or 40 million? Remember, you have both your lifelines left. You could phone a friend. You could do 50-50.
I honestly totally forgot about the lifelines. So this reminded me. Listen. So growing up, little backstory. Growing up, I used to watch Who Wants to Be a Millionaire with my dad all the time, and he would go through and he'd just start answering everything right, and he'd sit there and he'd be like, "Who needs that fucking lifeline anyway? These questions are easy." So I feel a little bit of pressure from the old man upstairs right now.
There you go.
Because I have to make sure
get the
that I use them and I get at least 75%.
Yep.
Man. So when you say for sport, so like there's leisure fishing and then there's people who are actually sport fishermen who are doing it for like tournaments, career, stuff like that. You're talking about like kind of like that in that aspect?
I didn't write the question. This is Google written.
All right, I'm going to use my 50-50.
Use your 50-50. Okay.
I'm going to have to bite the bullet. Yeah, I'm going to have to bite the bullet on this
All
one.
right. So we are going to get rid of 22 and 18. So it's either A, 8 million, or D, 40 million?
Let's see. There's, 300 million people in America?
I think 700 million.
Something like that? 600?
I think it's 700 million in America and 7 billion in the world, but I could be way off too.
Yeah. It's 40 million. It's
40 million. That's what you think. 40 million fishermen. Is there enough lakes for that?
You said the. I mean, dude, if you go up to Canada, you got some of the biggest freshwater fisheries in the world.
Is Canada in America?
I mean, it's North America. So we say North America or the United States?
Americans. I mean, I guess a North American is an American. Is a South American American.
I guess as a sport fisherman, I would like for the number to be 40, but it's probably 4, so I'm going to go with 4.
You go with 4? 4, you can't just final answer 4 because 4 is not in the answer key. It's either 8 or 4D.
Oh, 8 million.
Final answer.
Yeah.
You forget that my goal is to stump you. So, like, I'm like Regis, but I'm the opposite. I want you to lose.
My dad right now is looking at me. He's like, "You always go with the first answer that you thought it was," gut. And I didn't do that.
Go with your gut.
Damn.
Oh man, you had it too. I was able to talk you out of it. I was like, man, I don't want him to get 3 out of 4. Let's 2 out of 2.
Has anybody gotten 4 out of 4?
Yeah, somebody did. Was that man? I think, who was it? It was like one of the last ones I filmed too. I can't remember. Man, I want to think it was Jaden. I think Jaden did. Jaden Reichel, Restore Masters. I think he knocked it out of the park. Got 4 out of 4, and you could tell he just.
Not bad.
He's a smart kid, right? Smart test taker. You could tell that he didn't know the answers, and he even said it. Like, he's like, but he knew how I did it, and he knew I messed up a couple times. Like, I worded them to help him answer them, and in the beginning, I told him I wanted to stump him. So I gave away the 2 things. If you take that 2 part, you know that makes a little bit of a difference, because then I'm kind of
it makes it simpler.
Yeah.
I knew I should have gone with my gut.
Well, brother, it has been a pleasure having you on the show. Obviously, you're in the roofing industry. You're doing a lot of things. You've got roof stacks. You're constantly recruiting. You're consulting. Just about whatever it is in the roofing industry. If you're in the roofing industry at home, there's something Sam LoBosco could help you with, and that's driving salespeople, whatever it is. So how do we get a hold of you, Sam? What's the best way to reach you?
Real simple, man. You guys can reach me at sam@roofstacks.com, or if you guys are good friends with Alan and you guys watched the episode today and you want to reach out to me, reach out to Alan, and you guys can get my personal cell phone number from him there.
Yep, slide into the DMs. And is that Roof Stacks CK or with the X?
X. So it's ROOFSTAX.
There we go.
.com. And we actually have some very interesting developments too, man. We're starting a few other sides of it too. We're going to branch off into the solar industry. We're going to create solar stacks, and we might just create a stacks market for every trade we can find that can use telemarketing.
I like it. Stacks on stacks on stacks.
Yeah,
let's go.
Stacks worldwide, baby.
Stacks worldwide. Prestige. All right, brother. Yeah. Oh, well, like I said, man, it's been a pleasure. You have a good one.